Hello everyone, welcome on in. It's Betting Weekly, Game Bet Match, #1 tennis betting podcast and YouTube show. You know the drill by now. I'm trying to say joining me is our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It's Sean Calvert with me, Nigel Seeley, looking ahead to the penultimate 1,000 event of the year on the ATP Tour. It's at the Shanghai Masters. Just seems a little bit weird. I had to WhatsApp you today, Sean, to find out what was going on because I've completely and utterly lost where I am in the tennis world at the moment. How are you, mate? All right?
You're not the only one. I mean, I think I know it a little bit better than you, but it's still annoying, isn't it? Because I mean, on my TV there, you got the Tokyo final. You know, they've not played the Beijing final yet. That's tomorrow. And now we're looking at a totally different tournament. You know, new conditions, all the rest of it, different balls, almost certainly. Starts early tomorrow morning, so it's just this crazy schedule we talk about most weeks, don't we? It's insane. If this was in any other sport, you know, there'd be all sorts of investigations going on. But these players, you know, they're just getting run through the mill, aren't they? They must have nothing left by now, which I'll come on to in a minute.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of them running on empty. I can assure you of that. But it's all good for betting. No, come on, let's look at the positive side. We've got loads of matches. We've got a big tournament.
We did well
here,
last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a good week last week. Lots of good opportunities to make money as well. So we can look at the players who are probably jaded and the players who aren't, players who are fresh. It gives us a better insight where we want to go. But for me, I'm just so used to speaking to you on a Sunday with the tournament. The tournament ends and then I speak to you on a Sunday. When are these sort of Tuesday starts?
You're a man of routine, clearly.
Clearly. I have a very set routine.
I quite like having Sundays to do other stuff, to be honest. But then that makes it more difficult for the rest of the week. I don't necessarily mind that. But yeah, it is a bit sort of discombobulating, isn't it? We're working on different days to what you do for pretty much all the rest of the year. So it's a bit confusing. It's
a little bit strange. As you say, there is two tournaments still in progress. The tournament in Beijing, which looks like it's going to be Jannik Sinner and Alcaraz. Sinner is currently in one set up and he's in the second set. It looks like Sinner Alcaraz in the final there. And the final between Fils and Humbert is going on. And how these two players are still going on is incredible.
Particularly Fils. I mean, he was out on his feet about 2 matches ago.
I bet him in running yesterday and I bet him in running today.
Saved at least 1 match point, hasn't he, from what I've seen?
I mean, we're going to come on to this in a minute, but Artur Fils this week has gone up a level in my estimation. I think he's going to be a player next season. I've already got him down as a player for next season to go well at the Australian Open. Not necessarily win it, but go deep. I think this boy is going to be
quarter winner, yeah, possibly.
Really, really, really like the look of Wayne. But anyway, we're going to come on to him in a minute because he's involved in a difficult section of the draw and a difficult half of the draw in Shanghai. The draw has been made. The tournament starts tomorrow on Tuesday. We're going to run through the prices, give you the best bets on the draws, look at some first round matches. Obviously, it's a 1,000 event, which means the 32 top seeds, have all got buys. So they're not in action tomorrow. All the players remaining are playing for the right to play one of the seeded players in the second round. So these are the unseeded players, 32 players through to the last 64. If we look at the tournament winners previously, we go back 2023. Last year it was won by Herbert Hurkacz. He was not here this week. He's retired, not available. And then nothing.
We had him last year, didn't we?
We had him last year.
33
exactly. He was out. Hence the reason why the T-shirts were printed.
Yes, one of the reasons.
2019 won the event. And then it was dominated by Djokovic, Federer and Murray. Between 2018 and 2010, those players won every single event between them, between that period of time. Djokovic is making his first appearance here for 5 years, hasn't been in this event for 5 years. Obviously, it's only been no play in 2020, 2021 or 2022 as well. Before we go on to the draw, which is very interesting, let's give us the stats, give us the trends, give us where the angles are here, because we had a good week last week on the trends, and hopefully we can continue here.
Yeah, I mean, this is played on a DecoTurf outdoor hardcourt. Last year they played with Wilson 1 balls. I think they're going to be playing Wilson balls again. I couldn't tell you which derivative of Wilson balls it is. Let's assume it's Wilson 1, which is what it was last year. I mean, back in the day, Shanghai used to be really quick. Like the CPIs in Shanghai were sort of 45, 46 pre-COVID. Last year was the first year it's been back on the tour, and it did seem a little bit slower last year, a little bit slower after that 3-year break. And the players, once again, I'm sure Medvedev was probably one of them, were saying that the balls were fluffing up quickly. But this is almost a constant complaint, isn't it? See, I seem to be saying this every week because this is what the players keep saying. You know, a couple of games with these balls, and they just become fluffy and slow as a consequence. There was a definite disparity between centre court and the outside courts for me last year. That the outside courts certainly look quicker, and this is true of quite a few events, isn't it? Depending on the sort of the amount of sun that the courts get, the outside courts, they tend to be uncovered, they tend to get more sun. There's other reasons as well, but the CPI on stadium court last year that's court pace index, just tells you how quick the court is. That was 39 on stadium last year when it was clocked, and stadium 3 was at 43. So if you're looking for sort of tie breaks, set one overs, those sort of bets, I would sort of potentially steer clear of stadium unless it's, you know, two massive servers, but then you probably wouldn't get any value anyway. But yeah, quicker on the outside courts. Stats last year, 81% holds and 72.4% first serve points won. That's quickish. It's not lightning quick, but it's a decent pace. I don't think it's as quick as it used to be. Tie-break matches, 43% of them on average feature a tie-break. That's over quite a few years. And over 10.5 games in set one last year, it was only 33%. So again, it suggests that it's not perhaps as quick as it used to be. It's probably the balls that they used last year. Underdogs, not a great one for underdogs over the years, only 29% on average of won. So not normally a tournament where you see a lot of upsets, but this year could be different. The Olympics year might see a few more upsets. As far as the trends are concerned, you kind of mentioned it. A top 6 seed, i.e., number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the seedings, had always won the title in Shanghai until last year when Hurkacz won it at 33-1. No qualifiers ever made it past the quarterfinals, but I think this year, I think it might be different because the players they've not got a lot left, have they? In years, and the Olympics, I think, was just the thing that sort of pushed it over the edge. They've not had a proper break all season, really. So, survival of the fittest once again. I'll quickly touch on the weather.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so not particularly hot, 23 to 25 degrees up until Saturday and Sunday when rain is expected, but we can update that in the shows that we do later in the week. So no real rain expected for the next few days. The main stadium does have a roof. I'm not so sure about the outside courts, but one of them definitely does have a roof.
Last year's event, though, we had 4 very not all of them, but 3 of them definitely. We had Dimitrov, Rublev, Hurkacz and Korda got through to the semi-finals last year, and Hurkacz beat Rublev in an epic final. Quite surprising, really, when you said it was a little bit slower than usual, but Hurkacz won the tournament because you would expect it to be quicker.
I mean, it's not slow. It's just it used to be lightning quick, Shanghai. Yeah. Now it's just quick, which is still, you know, great. Hurkacz, I'm sure, would be a benefit of it if he was playing, which of course he isn't.
He isn't playing, unfortunately, for us. We can't sell any T-shirts. No T-shirts going off. And nobody wants a T-shirt when he's not playing. So it's a bit of a bad decision to get 475,000 Hurkacz T-shirts in my front room at the moment.
How many of them did you sell?
2. Let's have a look at the Shanghai Masters draw. The draw is very, very interesting because the top half, Sean, is absolutely stacked, and the bottom half is relatively weak, really weak. I mean, let's have a look at that top half. In the first quarter, you have Jannik Sinner, Medvedev. You also have in there Tsitsipas, Shelton, Artur Fils. Whether he can make the tournament, I don't know, but that's in the first quarter. The second quarter, you have Alcaraz, you have Casper Ruud, Mahak, Tiafoe, Tommy Paul, and Humbert. Humbert obviously involved in an epic match here. So you've got Sinner and Alcaraz, the market leaders, in the top half of the draw. The bottom half of the draw really is the way to go in terms of looking for some each-way options. Obviously, Bet Rivers offer each way in this tournament half the odds 1-2. We have Andrei Rublev, our pick last week. He did okay, but, you know, question marks still about him. He's in that third quarter, along with Novak Djokovic, who hasn't played here for 5 years. And would you trust Novak Djokovic? Dimitrov, who was injured. Tiafoe not playing very well at all. So then you have to go deeper down to some other players. Then in Q4, you have Zverev, you have Holger Rune, who showed signs of improvement. I thought he played quite well this week. I know he's been a bit lucky, but he showed quite signs of improvement. Kachanov, Thompson, and Taylor Fritz. So the top half here is where you'll find Sinner and Alcaraz. And Sinner and Alcaraz dominate the betting market with Bet Rivers. And these are the latest prices with Bet Rivers to win the tournament in Shanghai, the 1,000 event. Alcaraz is plus 175, Yannick Sinner plus 240, both in the top half. Novak Djokovic plus 350. Can you bet Novak Djokovic at plus 350 given his form? Not for me, a fade. Medvedev 1,500 would be of interest, but again, placing that top half of Alcaraz and Sinner and totally outplayed by Alcaraz earlier today. Zverev 17-1 looks very, very interesting to me. He's in that bottom half of the draw where the draw is very favourable. Fritz in the bottom half 30, Dimitrov 50, Rublev 60, Tommy Paul 66, Semnov Tsitsipas 75, Holgerum 80, Felix Auger seems 100 alongside Hugo Humbert and Ben Shelton. I think my strategy here, Sean, would be to throw some darts at some big prices in the bottom half of the draw. And see where we go.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm ignoring the top half of the draw completely. I mean, as you've said, Alcaraz, Sinner in there. We tried to fade them last week in Beijing, and I think they've both made the final. Alcaraz certainly has. Sinner looked like he was on his way to it as well. But, another long week for these guys. Another long week for Sinner and Alcaraz. Played so much tennis. Going to be a very tight turnaround. Yes, they've got a bye through to round 2, but, it's this stage of the season. You mentioned the quarterfinalists and semi-finals that we had here last year. This year they've had a huge extra event in the Olympics to throw into the mix as well. So for me, you've got to look at the bottom half, and the high seeds that look vulnerable to me are Rublev and Zverev. Rublev, very, very unfortunately for us, revealed after he won his first round match in Beijing that he'd had an operation after the US Open, and he said he wasn't expected to play the Asian swing at all. He said that apparently they told him maybe Shanghai. Nice of him to reveal that after we backed him to win Beijing. But he didn't look fully fit. He had to play 2 matches in one day because of the rain. He got a real bad time of it with the draw. It was the only men's match I think that wasn't completed. It was a joint tournament, wasn't it? I think there was a women's match scheduled on the court that had a roof, so he got turned over a little bit there. He had to play 2 matches in one day, but he's obviously not fully fit. He didn't say what the operation was, but obviously there's obvious question marks over his fitness. And Zverev apparently has been playing with pneumonia for the last couple of months, which might explain a couple of things, a couple of lackluster performances, particularly in the US Open when we were wanting him to win. So, and this is a mandatory event, of course. All these Masters 1000s are mandatory. They have to play them. There are certain exemptions, but only if you've won a ton of Grand Slams and various other things. 99% of this field wouldn't have that exemption. You are supposed to play it, and this is why these players are turning up. He didn't even play last week, did he? He pulled out of Beijing.
No.
So he's obviously not fit. So the approach I'm taking here is just to back not on the outright winner market, but on the quarter winners market. And in Q3, which is where Andrei Rublev is, in fact, his first match will be against the guy I've taken a 33-1 interest in, which is Jakub Mensik. I'm assuming he's going to beat Pedro Martinez in round 1. You would have thought so in these conditions. I fancy him to beat Rublev at the moment, given the Rublev's struggles with whatever it was he had the operation on. And there's not a great deal else in there. Dimitrov is another one who's been struggling with a hamstring injury. He withdrew from Beijing last week as well. Is he fit? Popyrin must be exhausted, the amount of tennis he's played in recent times. Cerundolo is not one you would particularly fancy in these conditions. He has been playing well lately, but you wouldn't fancy him against a power player in these sort of conditions. So there's a little route there, I think, for Mensik to come through. Obviously, Novak Djokovic is the issue as far as that's concerned. But how motivated is he now for the rest of this season? He's already said he's only interested now in Davis Cup and majors. Because he was asked about qualifying for the Tour final. Because he's not in at the moment, is he? You think he's number 9 in the race? Is he? Does he care though? That's the question. I mean, 37 years of age, achieved what he had to achieve in the Olympics. Is he up for this Shanghai Masters? There's perhaps an argument that he's up for this and he'll win it because he has to. He feels like he has to get to the Tour finals. Yeah, that might be the case. It also might not be the case. You've got to wonder.
I think that might have been the case many years ago, but I don't really believe that Novak Djokovic really could. He doesn't need the money. He's not really bothered. Does he really want to play?
Well, he said he's
I know
not.
The tournament organisers want him there, but apart from that, I can't see him bothered about that.
Well, he's already he said Davis Cup majors. That's it. Don't care about anything else. So you've got to question his motivation this week, haven't you? So Mensik, I'm taking a chance on the 33-1. I do expect big things from Mensik at some point in the future. If Popyrin can win a Masters 1000, I don't see any reason why Mensik can't win this quarter with an injured Rublev and maybe an injured Dimitrov, a demotivated TFO. Who knows? He might get motivated this week. He might not. And Popyrin, there's nothing much there to worry him. If Rublev's injured, which he is, and Djokovic is demotivated, then great. I think that's 33-1 Mensik, taking a chance on that. Quarter 4, similar kind of scenario. Let me just get to the right page. There's so many pages on these printouts. So it's Zverev, isn't it? Yeah, the guy's been playing with pneumonia. He withdrew last week from Beijing. You got to question his motivation. So Lehecka, Jiri Lehecka for me, 12-1. Been playing well lately. He's been injured for quite a chunk of this season, which I think will be an advantage to him here. He had 4 months out. I think he had a back problem. So he's only played 37 matches this season, but he's been back for a month or so now. Playing well. We know he goes well in quick conditions. He won Adelaide at the start of this season, beat Jack Draper in the final there, beat a lot of good players there in quick conditions. Also made the semi-finals in Madrid on clay at altitude. And the quarterfinals at Indian Wells, which is unsuitably slow and high bouncing for him, you would have thought. I'd much prefer him in conditions like this, quicker, lower bouncing. So we know he can make the latter stages of Masters 1000s. As I say, he didn't play for almost 4 months between Madrid and Cincinnati, so he should have enough in the tank. Again, you're looking at these guys and the sort of leaders in quarter 4, the market leaders. Zverev, as I say, pneumonia, can't be that motivated. Fritz, absolutely exhausted and injured as well, wasn't he, in Tokyo? He had all sorts of problems there with I think it's either the hip or the lower back. Berrettini, injured again last week, abs. Holger Rune, very, very hit and miss. He's got yet another new coach at the moment, by the way. If you haven't kept up with Holger Rune, I think Kenneth Carlsen's not doing the Asian swing, so he's got somebody else in for this leg. So, he's been very hit and miss, as I said. Nakashima, yeah, possibly, but I do like 12-1 about the hecker there in quarter 4. So different strategy this week, but yeah, those are the two I'm going to take.
Yeah, we do have some quarter betting on all the quarters. So Bet Rivers have those markets available. If you head across to the website, the tournament starts at 10 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Have a look at the props, the quarter 1s, quarter 2, quarter 2, Q3, Q4. If you like that strategy of players that need to do well here to get into the automatic position for Turin, Grigor Dimitrov is currently 10th, but he's in that top half of the draw. Tommy Paul, 11th, needs a big week. He's in that top half of the draw. Stefanos Tsitsipas in terrible form as well, but he's not ideally situated as well and not playing at all well in that top half of the draw. I was impressed with Holger Rune this week. I know we've got some sort of critics about, we've just said there that he's not playing very well, different coaches, but I did see a very much determined Holger Rune, and it really went down to the wire in that match in 2 very, very close tie breaks with Artur Fritz, who just won the tournament, by the way, an incredible performance.
Saved match point in another match. And saved it well as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and what an aggressive player he is. I mean, really, I think this boy's going to be a big, big star. And I remember talking to you about him a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Yeah. And Holger Rune,
we had him to win Hamburg, didn't we? 500 there.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a talent. But Holger Rune really played well, and I just saw a little bit of improvement. There's certain players I thought Holger Rune could actually have a good end to the year. Obviously, he's won Paris before, done well there in that tournament. And I thought on the outright market, I think he was around about 80-1 when I saw the graphic go up there. I just thought the bottom half of the draw, that could be a price.
It's possible,
that could look a little bit big, because this is a guy who was considered a major win this year. I know he's lost his way, but what I saw in Tokyo, I thought, you know what, he's getting back to some kind of form here. And 80-1 is I think it's a big price, Holger, in that bottom half of the draw. So there's the strategy. I'm going to go for a couple of big prices at the bottom half of the draw. One price. Holger Rune would be my pick here, with doubts about the two main people in that bottom half. The top half is stacked, loaded. And Sean has gone through it a little different way, looking at players in the quarters. So that's the way we're approaching. If you're just going to go quarters, you're not going to go outright market.
Just go in quarters,
just go quarters.
I think it's a stretch to ask one of these two to make the final. But as I said, not many people would have backed Popyrin to win in Montreal, would they? 200 odd to 1, whatever he was. But yeah, I think it's more sensible just to back him to win the quarter. Yeah, I think there's a route through there. Whether they'll get further is questionable, but yeah, just quarter winners for me.
Yeah, make sure you head across to the website, download the app. Bet Rivers, loads of markets unavailable on all these matches, and the tournament starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Now, we have some matches to discuss. The first match is Pablo Carreno Busta up against Botic van der Zandschulp. These two players have met once before. It was in Madrid in 2022. Carreno Busta won the first set 7-6, and he lost the match 7-6 again in a tiebreak and 6-3. And when the market has opened up, there has been a little bit of support for Carreno Busta. Carreno Busta is coming back from injury, long layoff, and obviously Van der Zandschulp is the man who produced the shock of the year, probably the shock of for a long time in tennis, by beating Alcaraz at the US Open in end of August. So hasn't really done well since then, but it's a pick and match. Carreno Busta -107, Van der Zandschulp -115, total 22.5. Pick the bones out of this one, Sean.
Yeah, I've just chosen all these matches today because they're the longest possible names to pronounce.
Yeah,
by the way.
I looked at them and I thought you're doing this on purpose.
I'm not, but after I'd written 2 down, I thought, hang on a minute, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, PCB for me here. I think he's been playing some really good tennis lately. He was unlucky to not beat Rublev, actually, from having lost the first set 6-love in a bagel in Beijing last week. Rublev really started to lose it, as he does, and it was 4-all in the third in the end. Forget the first set; he was terrible, and Rublev was brilliant. But the 2 sets after that were very, very close indeed. There was nothing between them. PCB just cracked serving at 4-5 to lose the match. He's a little bit fortunate to get away with that one, Rublev. If we look at what these two have done in the last 10 main level matches, it's very much PCB that has the better stats. Service points won and return points won total of 103. And a service hold and break total of 110. And Van der Zandschulp, he can't match that. Yes, he turned up and beat Carlos Alcaraz. That's probably what's making these odds relatively close. That match, he's done nothing else for a very long time. It's not like he's kind of kicked on from that performance either. Service points won and return points won total of 100, and a service hold and break total of 99. So he's miles behind. I know it's only a small snapshot, 10 main level matches, but that's kind of all there is with Carreno Busta because he's been injured for so long, or was injured for so long, but he's been playing some really good stuff, as I said. And in those stats, Van der Zandschulp is only winning 42% of his second serve points, nowhere near enough. Carreno Busta, not brilliant, but decent at 51%, so 9% better there as well. I mean, that match that you mentioned when they met was it Madrid? Pablo Carreno Busta was a 1-2 chance there. He ended up losing it, but now he's much closer to even money. I do think there's some value here on Carreno Busta. 1.94, I think he is, -106-ish, something like that. With Bet Rivers, yeah, that's PCB for me.
Yeah, -107, which is currently the best price in the land. You will not get a better price than that with Bet Rivers, and the matches start at 10 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. We're not quite sure the order of play, whether this one will be tomorrow or the following day.
I think it is. Yeah, it is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. You want to be moving quick because that -107 is definitely under pressure, and I don't think it'll be there. I think that the market will change, and Carreno Busta will definitely be favourite for this match against Botic van der Zandschulp, who has produced the big shock of the year, but other than that, has had a really, really poor year. Just threatened retirement from tennis not so long ago, hasn't he?
He's so moody, isn't he? He's so. You watch him sometimes, you think just go and do something else if it pains you that much to do it, because he just looks like he doesn't want to be there most of the time. And it is no surprise that he said, "Oh, I'm going to quit." That's him in a nutshell. It's no my luck. He'll probably turn up absolutely motivated and play his absolute A game, but no, not at those odds for me.
He's got his name in the history books by beating Alcaraz at the US Open, and that's his year done. Let's move on to the next match, which is an all-Spanish affair. Roberto Bautista Agut, Roberto Carballes Baena, another double-barreled name that Sean has put out to me, and there's not much more to come. Roberto Bautista Agut, the veteran, could be his last year on the tour. He's -225 to beat Carballes Baena, +175, which does seem a very, very big price to me, considering Carballes Baena is a higher-ranked opponent at 53 in the current world rankings. Bautista Agut is 61. Their hardcourt form this year is pretty similar, and this year they've met once before in Auckland on a hardcourt, And Carballes Baena won 6-4, 6-3 in the round one. I know it was a long time ago, but there does seem a big price to me on Carballes Baena to win this. If you want to pound the spreads, it's 3.5. You can get Carballes Baena plus 3.5 at minus 124. And the total is 21.5. Always a favourite with Bautista Agut, who likes to go over in a lot of his matches. But Carballes Baena plus 175. I mean, that doesn't make sense at all. If it's slow and it's
not slow, but...
Well, it's not as quick as it has been over the years. I think that's a big price, isn't it, Carballes Baena?
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure where this price comes from on Bautista Agut, to be honest. I know he's been playing pretty well lately, but very, very short in price for a number of reasons. He's played 6 long matches in 2 continents in less than 3 weeks. Was he 36 years of age? 37 in April, I think he is. He looked very, very tired in the last couple of sets against Lehecka that he played in Beijing only a couple of days ago. Was also very close to losing in straight sets to Billy Harris in that tournament as well. So I'm certainly holding some question marks about him in terms of fatigue, in terms of motivation as well this time of the season. And you would think that the last player you want to be playing, seeing opposite your name in the draw sheet, if you're feeling tired, is Carballes Baena. He's going to make this an extremely physical match. As I said, Bautista Agut's 36, almost 30, 36 and a half, getting on for 37. Not the physical specimen that he used to be. He used to win a lot of these matches by just being super consistent, flat hitting. He'd outlast you. He'd move you around. He's not. He can still do that in short bursts, but I'm not sure he's anywhere near the physical guy that he used to be. His stats aren't good either. 2024. So this season on outdoor hard, this season, this surface at main level, 36% win rate only, and a service points won and return points won total of 95, and a service hold and break total of 90. So these are miles down on statistics that Bautista Agut used to achieve. Carballes Baena, some way better, 47% win rate, which is pretty good for him on outdoor hard at main level. And the service points won and return points won total of 99. That's 4 points better. And a service hold and break total of 96, which is 6 points better. So add in the fact that he absolutely crushed Bautista Agut when they played in Auckland, which is one of similarly paced hard court to this. It's reasonably quick in Auckland. And Bautista only won 21% of his second serve points that day. You might say, oh yeah, it was a bad day in the office for Bautista Agut. Yeah, maybe so. But I'm certainly happy to take these odds of plus 175 on Carballes Baena on the money line. I think that's a little bit too big.
Yeah, Carballes Baena plus 175. I have been saying that the tournament starts tomorrow because it does start tomorrow in the UK, but in stateside it's actually today. So it's 10.
Don't get me on the time zones.
Yeah, I'm getting all confused on the time. It's
Wednesday, technically.
Yeah, but it's
maybe in the US it might be late Tuesday or something.
Yeah, it's late Tuesday, 10 o'clock. The order play starts, so you haven't got really much time at all to head across. So if you heard my comment earlier, it starts tomorrow. Mate, it's today if you're watching this stateside. So you haven't really got much time at all. And I tell you what, that price on Carballes Baena will probably disappear. We have 3 more matches to discuss. Now I get this one wrong all the time, and every time I see it, I think, oh, here we go. And Nishioka up against Yizhou.
Not 100% about that one. Let's say Yizhou. I'm not sure.
Yizhou. So Nishioka is a very, very heavy favourite here. He's minus 1,000. So you've got to put $1,000 on to win $100. Zhou is plus 550. The spread is 5.5. Total very low, 19.5. Don't know much about Zhou. He's ranked just outside the top 450, just inside the top 450, well, 446. Nishioka is 59. Looking at Zhou's form, well, it's not really very good. I mean, he's won 1 match in the last 8. Got beat by Kotov in Beijing, come through qualifying in Chengdu to get that match. But really, I mean, it's he got beat by Beijing. Sorry, he got beat in Beijing by Kotov, come through qualifying in Chengdu to lose to Mannarino. And in his Davis Cup match as well, he got beat by Boltan. I don't really know much about this guy at all. So, Sean, I'm quite interested to hear what you've got to say about it, because Nishioka is the name player. He is the minus 1,000 favourite. And he is the one that the bettors watching this show will know all about. So, very intrigued why you've put this one into the graphic today, other than just to make me look silly on the pronunciations of the names.
It wasn't that. It was 99% about the match and 1% about your pronunciation of the players. But you've done fine there, Yoshihito Nishioka. So you've called him Nishikai or something in previous years, weeks, months, whatever.
It's definitely Nishioka. He went when I put my new teeth in. When I put my new teeth in, I can pronounce them better.
You've got it sorted now, Nishioka. So I just think this is a crazy price on Nishioka in the circumstances. I mean,
he's been our friend of the show this time of the year. Now we desert him.
But I'm definitely deserting him. He's had an awful Asian swing, really. I'll tell you what. I mean, Zhou's been playing very well, actually. He was really close to beating Mannarino, who's a left-hander like Nishioka. He was a set up there, I think, and he was certainly a break-up in the final set as well. Should have beaten Mannarino really there. And against Kotov, very, very close as well. I'm just going to get the stats up on that one. Just 1 point in it overall. Just a little bit of experience and just a real big effort from Kotov. Just edged him over the line there. In the 3 matches that he's played, I know it's a tiny, tiny snapshot of time, but the stats that he's produced in the 3 matches, service points won and return points won, total of 106, and a service hold and break total of 105. You know, it suggests that he should have won at least another one of those matches. I know it's a small snapshot, but that's how he's been playing these last 3 matches on the Asian swing. Obviously highly motivated, as we've seen all the Asian players play. Well, not all of them, but most of the Asian players playing really well this swing, which is a tactic that I've used in previous years with Nishioka. But what Nishioka's done in his 4 matches, a service points won and return points won total of 93, and a hold and break total of 89. I mean, he's just nowhere near the level that he's been on this Asian swing in previous years. He complained, I think it was after Hangzhou, he complained that he was really tired after the Davis Cup because he played a couple of ties there. Won a tournament. I think he won Atlanta, didn't he, in the US swing? Played a lot of matches. He's had numerous cramps, medical timeouts in the matches that he's played so far in the Asian swing. He was really lucky to beat Felix. The stats of that match heavily favoured Felix, but he's managed to find a way to lose to Nishioka. And he's never done any good in Tokyo. It's a pretty awful record there. When I've backed him, it's been in the first week of the Asian swing when he's fresh. If you look at his results after that first week of the Asian swing, they're not great because he's put so much into the first week. He's got nothing left for the second week. In Tokyo, conditions don't suit him there anyway because it's a bit low bouncing. He prefers a bouncier court. But given the way Zhou's been playing and given the way Nishioka's been playing and how he's been feeling, I'm more than happy to take a chance on Zhou here at plus 1.5 sets. He's only got to win a set, which he did against Mannarino and he did against Kotov. I don't see any reason why he can't do it against this fatigued version of Nishioka. And it's plus 187 that he wins a set. He's a former world number 3 junior, this guy. He's a very good player. The ability is there. Just lacks a bit of experience at the minute, but I think we're going to see a little bit more from him in the future. He's decent. I think those odds are a little bit insulting, to be honest.
I don't think there's Nishioka minus 1,000 to win a tennis match. I mean,
in the state he is, he's
in 1,000 event,
shattered.
1,000 event as well. I mean, that's unheard of. So, yeah, there must be a logic here. Zhou, obviously, you know a little bit more about him. Former junior champion, number 3 in the world. To win a set plus 185, it does sound quite a nice bit of value there. That's going to be. Is that? I didn't ask you earlier, but is that one of our official picks? And the other ones previously, what about official picks?
Yeah, the first 3 I've done here, they're all official picks. It's on a risk reward basis. I think they're all got some value to them. Yeah.
Okay, we get you to recap the official plays at the end of the show. Just move on to our penultimate match. It's the American Alex Michelsen up against Yunchaokete, who's just got through to the semi-final against Jannik Sinner. Just been beaten by Jannik Sinner. He must be absolutely shattered. Michelsen here is a favourite, minus 188. He's had some good form in recent weeks. He got to the quarterfinals in Tokyo, and he got to the final in Winston-Salem where he got beat by Sonego. He's up against Bo, who's obviously got to the semi-final here just now against Sinner in Beijing. So an interesting one there to see the turnaround very quickly. I can imagine this match being later. It won't be today. It'll be tomorrow. Boo is a plus 150 chance. Michelsen is minus 188. As I said, spread is 2.5. And total is 21.5, which does seem quite low, actually, for Michelsen matches. Michelsen matches usually are around about 22.5, 23.5, the high end of the of the sort of 22s, 23 and a half, rather than the 21s or 20s that you see here. Can Bu, is he going to motivate himself and come back from semi-finals in Hangzhou, semi-finals in Beijing? No, he's playing well, but there's a lot of tennis.
It is a lot of tennis, but this is the Asian swing. This is his time of year, clearly. The layers were right about Bu, and I was wrong in was it Chengdu or Hangzhou? Whichever one it was.
Hangzhou.
But we had a reset on him since then, haven't we? We've backed him a couple of times since then. He's had some fabulous results, and what a great level he's found, this Asian swing. He's already up to number 69 in the world in the live rankings, even after losing to Sinner today. And this Asian swing, I haven't got the stats of the Sinner match, it's only just finished, but on the Asian swing prior to that, service points won and return points won, total of 109, and a service hold and break total of 115, and that's against an average ranking of number 49. That's the average of all the players that he's played divided by the number of matches. It's not an exact science, but it shows you the level that obviously he's been playing at. He's beaten Rublev, he's beaten Musetti, he's beaten Khachanov, he's beaten Jerry Shang. I don't think he'd be worried about Michelsen. The only worry, that the obvious worry, is fatigue. He's not playing tomorrow, so he's got a Thursday start. I should imagine it will be a late match on Thursday. If it's on Thursday, they're going to give him time to recover. But this is his time of year. He's massively motivated. I can't imagine him saying, "Well, yeah, no, I've done all right in these, Hangzhou and Beijing, but I'm not that fussed about Shanghai." I can't see that happening. He's got to be on a high, hasn't he? The way he's played. One more match, I don't think it's a stretch, really. Michelsen, as you said, has been playing pretty good. Last 10 main level matches, service points won and return points won, total of 103, and a hold and break total of 106. But those are good stats, but not, excuse me, as good as Bu. Nowhere near as good, in fact. So, I mean, if this was level playing field, both guys fresh, you would strongly fancy Bu. The plus 150 is about the turnaround, isn't it? So it's going to have to be just lean for me, because I'm not sure about the scheduling, but I'm definitely tempted with Bu at plus 150.
Yeah, plus 150 available with Bet Rivers now. And the money, though, looking at the money now, that money is definitely coming for Bu. So that plus 150, I don't think it's going to last. So if you want to take Bu here at plus 150, you want to move across now. I don't think that will be today. The action does start today at 10 p.m. Eastern time. I think it will definitely be tomorrow.
It's definitely not today. Wednesday.
Our final match, we only have the money line. We don't have any spreads, but or any props. But I'm sure by the time this podcast drops or the show drops, you'll be able to head across to the BetRivers website and get all those markets. There is over 29 different markets available on all the other matches, but this one we only have the money line. It's Mpetshi Perricard up against Stanislas Wawrinka, minus 175 for Mpetshi Perricard, plus 138 for Stanislas Wawrinka. Judging by your sort of analysis of the tournament, it might not be as quick. It's quick, but it's not as quick as we expected. Mpetshi Perricard needs it quick. He's a big server. Stanislas Wawrinka might actually like the conditions. He hasn't won a match on hardcourt though this year, and Mpetshi Perricard is a very impressive 15-8. Can Stan Wawrinka roll back the years and shock the young Frenchman?
He might be able to. Mpetshi Perricard looks jaded. Wawrinka certainly shouldn't be. He's hardly played in recent months. I'm interested to see, obviously, the overs line. Wawrinka, for me, against big, he plays a lot of tie breaks against big servers because he holds a lot himself, Stan. And on the return, he tends to chip it in. So that leads to a lot of, if you're able to approach the net like Mpetshi Perricard is, it leads to like a fairly easy volley a lot of the time. So that tends to mean a lot of tie breaks when Wawrinka plays against big servers that can approach the net, such as Mpetshi Perricard. If you look at their last 10 main level matches, Perricard, 40% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 96 and a hold and break total of 95. These are not good stats. It feels like his best time this season has been and gone. Earlier on when he won Lyon, and then he played pretty well in the grass as well. Perhaps not as well as I expected, but that was kind of his time. Since then, he's struggled. Those stats are poor. Now, if we look at what Wawrinka's done in his last 10 main level matches, he's only won 3 of them. So 30% win rate. but he's got better stats. Service points won and return points won total of 98, and a service hold and break total of 104. Now, these two are two very weak returners. And Mpetshi Perricard, he's only won 27.7% of return points, which is desperately bad. That's as bad as it gets. That's sort of peak Cressy and Isner sort of returning levels. And Wawrinka's not much better on 30.7% return points won. So this, if you can get a half-decent price about tie-break in here, set one tie-break, that's the obvious play. You probably won't get a good price on it. I don't know yet. But in terms of holds of serve, it's actually Wawrinka that's held more often in these last 10 matches, of which he's only won 3. 88% holds of serve Wawrinka, 84% Mpetshi Perricard. So I'm slightly tempted on the money line with Wawrinka, given that he should be fresh, unless he's completely done, and which he doesn't seem to be. He doesn't seem to be saying, oh, this is going to be my last year. I've not heard any of those comments from him. I'm quite tempted by Wawrinka, potentially to win the first set. We haven't got odds on that. Possibly to win the match plus 138, or the set one overs if that's a reasonable price, sort of 2.5 or more. That's probably where I'd go there as well. Mpetshi Perricard, he's a bit of a fade for me at the minute. Looks like he's done his best work.
Head across the BetRivers website. All those markets will be available throughout the day. Not today, these matches will be played. They will be tomorrow, so you have plenty of time to get the bets on the first 3 matches we spoke down about with the official plays. They will probably be this evening, 10 p.m. Eastern time is when the action starts. That's where you need to head across to get on the quarter markets, the outright markets, and various different markets. We have some figures for you. 9.32 units behind we are on the show this year, which is a 5-unit improvement from last week. So as we go in by, if we keep continuing that for the rest of the season, we'll be about 20 points up. That's what. No pressure on you, Sean.
No,
WTA
okay.
show is plus 1.19 units, and the soccer shows 4.91 up on the English Premier League and 8.19 on the extra time across in Europe. And that is where you'll be heading. The shows will be dropping on Thursday. All the latest soccer shows as well as our live shows every day, 11 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday. One of the handicapping team here at Because We Win will be on there giving the best bets for that day with the latest money moves from the BetRivers headquarters. There is a podcast available here, which I want you to download if you can. Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. You prefer to get your stuff from the podcast providers. If you don't, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios. Our record number of subscribers last month. So thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, welcome on in. Any questions you have for myself or Sean, you give us a question. We'll answer that question anytime you want. And also follow us on our socials at Because We Win on Twitter and on Instagram. And finally, there is a newsletter coming your way. Probably be in video format. We're working out the logistics of it. But the way to register for that is by going to our new website, Betting Weekly Studios, and just type in your email. You'll be on the emailing list when the newsletter gets released. Sean, before I go, just give us your recap of your best 3 bets or your official 3 bets for tomorrow, or today, actually. I get it wrong again, today.
Well, let's start with the outrights then. Jakub Mensik to win Q3, I think it was, wasn't it, at 33 to 1. That's an outright market. And Jiri Lehecka to win the 4th quarter at 12 to 1. As far as the matches are concerned, Pablo Carreno Busta minus 107 to beat Botic van der Zandschulp. And Roberto Carballes Baena plus 175 to beat Roberto Bautista Agut. And Zhou plus 1.5 sets to win a set, whatever the market is, against Nishioka plus 187.
Yep. So lots of nice bets, lots of nice leans. Hopefully we can cash some tickets and go a little bit better than we did last week. 5 units profit last week, hopefully a little bit more this week, and sort of head into the final month of the tennis season and with some nice profit going into it. So we can rest up with some money for Christmas. Talking about Christmas already, Sean. Oh, God. Dear. Oh, no. It's a long way off. Thanks for your time. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Sean, thank you very much, as always, for joining me on a afternoon here. I'm not quite sure the day of the week. It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday afternoon. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Tuesday afternoon. Thank you very much for joining me. And we will be back more than likely on Friday, because Thursday there'll be a lot of soccer content and we don't want to mix it all up with that. So Friday will be a good day free for the tennis. Hopefully we come on and we're talking about some second round matches, and hopefully we would have cashed some tickets on the first round here in Shanghai. Thanks for again. All the very best and good luck with your bets over the last couple of days. Take care.